Good evening, hello and welcome to the news today, your destination for the news, the newsmakers, the talking points. Wednesday night, I'm Rajdeep Sardesai.
Justice for Muslim women. Instant talaq now a crime.
यह अध्यादेश देश की नारी के इंसाफ के लिए लाया है।
Sangh Parivar reaches out to Muslims.
जिस दिन ये कहा जाएगा कि हाँ मुसलमान नहीं चाहिए, उस दिन वो हिंदुत्व नहीं रहेगा।
Hindutva that embraces Muslims. Genuine pitch or poll gambit?
That's right, it's our top story tonight because the Narendra Modi government today issued an ordinance that criminalizes instant triple talaq. Remember, the anti-triple talaq bill had been blocked by the opposition in the Rajya Sabha, which wanted amendments saying criminalization was not the answer. Clerics also are fuming over the new ordinance, calling it another anti-Muslim move by the centre. But the government insists that this ordinance is about gender justice. It's our top story tonight.
हमारे जो सरकार ने जो अध्यादेश पारित किया है, तो उससे जो अध्यादेश में जो बिल पारित हुआ है और जो भी लॉ आएगा, तो उसके लिए मैं बहुत ही खुश हूँ।
ये 3 तलाक का जो ये बिल पास हुआ है, इसे सुनकर तो बहुत खुशी हुई है हमें, क्योंकि तमाम मेरे जैसी हजारों बहनें जो दर-बदर भटक रही हैं, उनके लिए बहुत अच्छा हुआ है।
Big victory for Muslim women across India. In a big boost to gender justice, the Narendra Modi government has issued an ordinance making instant talaq a punishable offence. Under the provisions of the ordinance, guilty husbands will face up to 3 years in jail. Not just that, women will be entitled to maintenance. The government has also put in place some checks and balances. For instance, only the wife or her close relative can file a case. The political class, however, is divided. While the BJP lashed out at the Congress for blocking the anti-triple talaq bill in Rajya Sabha, the Congress accused the ruling party of playing politics.
It is my serious charge with full sense of responsibility that a distinguished woman leader is the ultimate leader of the Congress party. Yet, such a barbaric, inhuman triple talaq curse was not allowed to be ended by a parliamentary law because of ambiguity and vacillation of the Congress party for pure vote bank politics.
It is about the legislative process and parliamentary scrutiny. And it is not the Congress, but there was no consensus among the political parties and the government made no effort. Government is playing politics.
Muslim clerics opposing equal rights for Muslim women also hit out at the government.
हम ये समझते हैं कि ऑर्डिनेंस पास करना कहीं ना कहीं जो डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोसेस है उस पर सवालिया निशान लगाना है। एक जमहूरियत में हम लोगों की आवाज़ को तरजीह क्यों नहीं दी गई, ये भी एक बड़ा सवाल है।
जिस तरीके से बीजेपी की सरकार ने ट्रिपल तलाक के मामले में मुदाखलत की है, उससे हिंदुस्तान के मुसलमानों के जज्बात मजरूह हुए हैं।
The ordinance will be now sent for President's approval, after which it will become law for 6 months. However, it will cease to be a law if it doesn't get a parliamentary nod within 6 months. With Polomi Saha and Sanjay Sharma, Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining us now is the country's law minister who's been the architect behind this ordinance on triple talaq. Appreciate your joining us, Ravi Shankar Prasad ji. Tell us, what was the necessity for an ordinance? Could you not have waited till the winter session of Parliament and got this bill passed, or were you convinced that the opposition would not allow it, which is why you've gone with the ordinance route?
First of all, you recall, Rajdeep, in the Lok Sabha, Congress party did not vote in opposition. When it came to Rajya Sabha, we have also made certain amendments like making it compoundable and complaint only at the instance of the wife or the family members. and also magistrate could grant bail upon appropriate terms and conditions. For 5 days, under the direction of the Prime Minister, we sought to have engagement with the Congress party. Repeatedly, yes, we will revert to you, we will revert to the last day. Ultimately, we were told we have to take the consent of all the political parties. They could have said the first day. Nothing like this emerged in the Lok Sabha. Now, what is happening in between? From January 2017, 17 January, the date of Supreme Court judgment, till 13 of September 2018, that means few days earlier, nearly 430 triple talaq instances have happened in the country. And this we could manage from the media report, your channel and others. Let me say it in Hindi. Roti kali ho gayi, 3 talaq. Wife der se uthi, 3 talaq. Wife ne maike jaane ko kaha, 3 talaq. So WhatsApp se 3 talaq. Now, in spite of the Supreme Court having called it unconstitutional, arbitrary and also sinful, in spite of Lok Sabha having passed it, in spite of Congress party defying and opposing it in the Rajya Sabha, the women of India are suffering. And what I have said, it is neither of faith nor of religion, but the issue of gender justice, gender dignity, gender equality.
No, I take your
70
point.
years after India became free, should you allow this to happen?
I take your point, Mr. Minister, but the objection which is...
Therefore, because triple talaq is...
Yes, go ahead.
Rajdeep, just a minute, Rajdeep.
Yes.
The compelling necessity because of the continuing curse of triple talaq was the reason for the ordinance.
You're saying that, but the opposition and indeed several lawyers are saying, you are a senior lawyer yourself, is that you are criminalizing a civil offense. This needs wider debate. Yes, you are pointing out presumably case of instant triple talaq, which the court has already declared unconstitutional. And therefore, if today in all those 400 odd cases that you've cited, someone gives a triple talaq, it is illegal. You have gone ahead and criminalized it with an offense punishable with a 3-year jail term and a fine and made it non-bailable. This, some lawyers believe, is effectively criminalizing a civil offense and may not be necessarily the solution.
I am not supposed to reply to the lawyers. I am supposed to reply to these women who are suffering as the Law Minister of India. I am supposed to reply to the polity, to the society and the conscience of the country.
But will this end? Will this end with this?
Tortured, Rajdeep,
will the ordinance end it, sir?
Because you are also a senior... No, please you listen.
Yes, go ahead.
Please listen to me, otherwise don't call me.
Go ahead.
Today, women go and to run to the police station. Okay? In UP, in Bihar, they rush to the police station. Police says, we don't have any power. Deterrence is important to prevent these kinds of systems, these kinds of curses, behavior. 22 Islamic countries have regulated triple talaq or not. We have debated ad nauseum. India is a secular country. But the deterrence will act, and let me tell you how it will work. If he is arrested, he will go to the magistrate seeking bail. The magistrate will ask him a straight question. Have you given triple talaq or not? If he says no, he will say, take back your wife. Treat her with respect. I am recording it. If he said yes, then suffer the consequences. Face the trial. Give the maintenance, everything. It is a very simple law we have made. But this law will be a deterrent. Why I have said he will not be granted bail without hearing the wife? Because wife's hearing is important to understand her plight. Why I have said compounding can be done at the instance of the wife. The husband will not dupe the wife for samjhauta or compromise. She will say in the court. This I am all for gender justice. Those great academicians have a sense of law. I am not to learn law from them. Here is a case, instant triple talaq is a curse. Supreme Court had said sinful, unconstitutional, arbitrary and unreasonable. And if this continues with impunity, as I said, 430 from January 17 till date, then something has to be done.
Let me therefore ask you, Mr. Minister, in conclusion, therefore, let me ask you, do you really believe, though, that in these 400 odd cases, if this ordinance had been in place or indeed a law had been in place, that these women would not have suffered? Do you believe that it is enough to have a law of the kind that you're bringing in? Because your political critics, particularly from the Islamic community, from the clergy, are saying actually the likes of Asauddin Owaisi that it will increase the number of cases because men will actually use this to pressurize their wives and not give them in a sense the compensation which is due. They will walk away from the marriage.
After all, they are critics. They will remain the critics. They want, they want they will walk away from the marriage. If triple talaq goes, a lot of conditionality will be there. Number one, that instant license to terminate the marriage is not there. And other obligation, even in Muslim law, has to be followed. And the second thing is important. You see these things from those who have the vote bank politics in mind, conservatives in mind, or you want to see it with the future thing. In 1961, Pakistan and followed Bangladesh have regulated triple talaq. So you know those countries very well.
Yes.
India is a secular country. The conscience of the country will be the constitution, not the conservatism of the elements you talked about. And therefore, it is the government of Modi ji. For the sake of Shabano may have Rajiv Gandhi bent. Mr. Modi, for Saira Bano and victims of triple talaq, will stand firmly with them in the quest of justice.
So therefore, if anyone says this is a political gambit tomorrow, then
this is
Ravi Shankar Prasad and the Modi government using the issue of gender justice to reach out not so much to the Muslim women but also to the liberal Hindus and say, look, we are talking here about gender justice. This is not about Muslim bashing. You want to reach out to Muslim women but also liberal Hindus. This is a political gambit in an election year. What will you say to them?
The reply is very simple. For the last 1.5 years or 2 years, we are trying or not. When the matter got passed from the Lok Sabha, was there any talk of election? When we tried to negotiate with Congress party, was there any election? When we came in the last session of the Congress, Rajya Sabha, have you seen it or not? Congress party, one is standing in Lok Sabha, one is standing in Rajya Sabha. Therefore, it is absolutely politics neutral. Let me say it very, very categorically. It is purely politics neutral. And how this law works, Rajdeep, let me say one anecdote before I conclude. In UP, a Muslim lady went to the Thana and the police officer called the errant husband and told him, Lok Sabha has passed the bill, going to come in Rajya Sabha. Will you behave or I take action? And he took back his wife. Deterrence is equally important. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Right, Mr. Minister. I appreciate your joining us and giving us your perspective. Thank you very much, Ravi Shankar Prasad, for joining me here on the news today. Okay, let's turn to the big question then. You've heard from the minister. This is my top focus. The Triple Talaq Ordinance that's been brought today. Gender friendly or is it bad in law? Should instant Triple Talaq have been criminalized in this ordinance, or is this an idea whose time has come? Will it act as a deterrent? Is this about gender justice or is this about the power of the clergy? Has this ordinance been issued by the government in haste? Let's go straight to our talking point. And joining us now, three very special guests. I'm joined by Asauddin Owaisi, the MP of the MIM, member of the Muslim Personal Law Board and an opponent of the Triple Talaq Bill. Also joining me, Zakia Soman. She was one of the petitioners who was responsible for taking this bill forward. And also joining me, Dr. Soumya Saxena. She is a former consultant to the Law Commission who's writing an important book on personal laws of the community. Appreciate all of you joining us. Asauddin Owaisi, now that the ordinance has been moved, why are you still going to protest? The Supreme Court called it sinful. The minister on this program has said it's an idea whose time has come. You are behind the times. How do you respond?
Rajdeep, the Supreme Court of India has set aside Triple Talaq. So now, even if a Muslim man pronounces instantaneous or triple talaq, the marriage doesn't get dissolved. The Supreme Court has not asked or called for penal provisions to be added. And that is why I say that this proposed ordinance has been outrightly rejected by majority of Muslim women. This will cause more injustice to Muslim women, This will give a weapon to all the Muslim men who are unfortunately indulging.
How do you know that a majority of
this,
Muslim women have
social
rejected
evil?
this, Mr.
Now,
Owaisi?
please tell me
How do
that-
you know that a majority of Muslim women have rejected it? How do you know that? On what basis are you saying that? That a majority of Muslim women have rejected that, the bill? How do you know that?
So I would request you that you can please take me to any town where Muslims are there, and Rajdeep Sardesai should say that I stand for this ordinance and how many oppose it, and then you'll see. Now let me tell you why I oppose this bill. It is unconstitutional. It violates Article 14 and 15. That is the fact of the matter. And please tell me, Rajdeep, that if you imprison a Muslim man, and why should a woman still be stuck with that man? I mean, are you saying that if he comes back from prison, the marriage still continues? I mean, what is this? A subsistence allowance for a man who lives in prison, and he'll be paying allowance. So this is please allow me to complete.
Yes.
Please allow me to complete. Marriage in Islam is a civil contract. And let me tell you very clearly that after reading the 377 judgment of Supreme Court, wherein the Supreme Court rightfully said, they said neither harmful nor contagious to society. Let me ask this question to people who are supporting this government. Triple Talaq is neither dissolves a marriage nor causes any harm to anyone. And this criminalization is not tenable.
Mr.
3 years
Mr.
for what?
Owaisi,
If
now
I
let me
drive
come in.
and kill someone,
Mr.
it is 2
Owaisi,
years.
before I
How
go
can
to
you
my
bring
other
a criminal
panelists.
penal
One
provision in
minute.
it? Under
Mr. Owaisi, the Supreme Court has already declared it unconstitutional. You concede that?
Stand test of law.
Sir, the Supreme Court has said instant triple talaq. Just a minute.
You're absolutely wrong.
No,
I challenge.
it has said
I
instant
you,
triple talaq is not intrinsic to Quran. It is violative of Article 14 and 25 of Indian Constitution.
Supreme Court judgment. No.
It has said that. That's what the judgment said.
What?
That it is unconstitutional, it is not intrinsic to Quran, it is violative of Article 14 and 25. Talaq Ordinance is manifestly arbitrary. It allows a Muslim man to break down marriage whimsically. This is what the court said.
Would you allow me to, at least allow me to say, I know you are a big proponent of supporting the government on this issue, but let me tell you that if I am charged under this bill as a Muslim man, and you are charged because you're a Hindu for different law, you will get a 1-year sentence, I should get a 3-year sentence. Isn't that violation of Article 14 and 15? That is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
And moreover, this is marriage in Islam is a civil contract. How can you bring in criminal provision? There will be more desertion of Muslim women, and this country requires a law for 24 lakh married women who have been deserted by their husbands. May I ask the Prime Minister, what will he do? Will he bring a legislation to do justice to our Bhabi from Gujarat?
Let me come to Zakia Soman. Zakia Soman, you're hearing what Asauddin Owaisi is saying. He says this will lead to more desertions of women. He is claiming, in his view, this is arbitrary and this is also unequal in the manner in which it is being implemented, and the criminalization of it is very dangerous. How do you respond as a petitioner?
First of all, I must say that this development has come 70 years too late in our country. Muslim women have suffered. They have fought a long and arduous battle. They have been subjected to legal discrimination in our country. In the 50s, when the parliament was passing the Hindu Code Bill and the various laws under the Hindu Code, the parliament should have also passed a Muslim family law based on the Quran and confirming to the constitution. That did not happen. But nevertheless, it is now going to happen. Ideally, it should not have happened through the ordinance route. Ideally, it should have happened with a kind of a participation and engagement by all political parties and all leaders from the civil society.
How do you respond to Mr. Owaisi's point that the criminalization will lead to desertion? Do you believe there is any truth to that at all? He says a majority of Muslim women do not support the criminalization of triple talaq.
See, the situation is such that there is already desertion of Muslim women through triple talaq. they get thrown out from the home overnight. Even after the Supreme Court judgment has come, we have had numerous cases coming to us where men have continued to given them triple talaq, and the women have been left without any recourse. They have nowhere to go, because even if they go to the police says, I don't know under which law I can act. So it has been a very, very one-sided kind of a deal for the women.
Right.
And it's not as though the men who are giving triple talaq to their wives, it's not as though they are really maintaining their wives or really caring anything about the wife. Where will she sleep? Which home will she go to? What will happen to her children? So women are already being thrown out. They are being deserted. Their children are being snatched. They are not being given no due process is followed in the process of the entire divorce. Actually, a woman is entitled, as per the Quran, to a due process before the divorce. There is a time which minimum 90-day period where reconciliation effort should happen, where mediation should happen, and the responsibility of this effort is laid on the husband and not. None of this happens really, on the ground, and it's very, very unequal.
I take your point, but let me take that therefore to Asauddin Owaisi. You're hearing Zakia Soman, and she's saying you already have a system which is unequal, which leads to desertion of women in any case, which puts the woman in an even more difficult position. At least now, there will be some legal weapon available to the woman. Why not appreciate that as a step forward? I come back to it, Mr. Owaisi. You are fighting against the tides of time. Why are you denying the Muslim woman at least some legal protection that is now going to be given? What are you so worried about? What are you so scared about?
Rajdeep, if I have, with all the tidal waves being unleashed by the Sangh Parivar. Now let me tell you, for clarification, in Islam, Quran is not the... Listen, Rajdeep, I have a right to my opinion. You can disagree with it. Let me respectfully say what I have to say. I was telling you that in Islam, Quran is not the only source of law. That is a fact. If one doesn't accept it, then we know how shallow one's knowledge of Islam is. Secondly, there is law, 498A IPC. There is Domestic Violence Act. There is 125 CRPC Act. Supreme Court 141 article, 6-month sentence for violating the Supreme Court judgment. So you have enough laws. Now, let me come back to why I say
enough laws,
is
but they
that in
haven't
Islam,
worked.
marriage is a
Mr.
civil
Owaisi, they haven't
contract.
worked. The Muslim woman needs protection.
The
minister gave me 400 plus cases where instant triple talaq has taken place in the last 19 months.
Rajdeep, your biasness towards me is coming out openly. I have a right to disagree with you, and you as an anchor should have the patience to listen to the opposite view. Now let me tell you that social evils in India have not been eradicated by laws. 2011 census, 1 crore child marriages, we have laws. We have laws that if you do a rape and murder, still in parliament, in a question, we have 1 lakh women who have been raped. So the mentality of men have to be changed and society has to reform. And lastly, the Law Commission has rightfully said that we cannot have a uniform civil code. This is the fact of the matter, which people do not want to read and accept. And I'm telling you, the Muslim community, majority of Muslim women, I reiterate again, to the discomfort of everyone, that they have rejected this ordinance and they do not want this ordinance.
Well, on what basis you're saying that is very uncertain, but Dr. Soumya Saxena, you've heard the 2 points of view. You're a research scholar looking at this area. Where does the truth lie? Where is the truth between Mr. Owaisi saying a majority of women have rejected this new law versus Zakia Soman saying you need a law to protect the woman?
So Rajdeep, I'm going to come somewhere in between, because the thing is that I am in favor of a legislative intervention, because laws, as we know, also have a certain psychological impact, which is when you know something is a criminal offense, it's likely to work as a deterrence. But I'm also very against this culture of bringing in legislation through ordinance, and I'll give you an example in a minute. quick legislations, hasty legislations are very difficult to get rid of, like you saw in the case of 377, like you saw in the case of sedition. These are laws that have been misused left, right, center historically, and it's difficult to get rid of a bad law. Why I want to say I'm not satisfied with this legal intervention, even though I want one, is for two simple basic inaccuracies. The entire ordinance focuses on pronouncement of triple talaq and criminalizes it, not on abandonment. You see what the problem is? If a man doesn't say triple talaq but he chucks his wife out of the house, the 3-year term doesn't apply to him. Her only remedies remain like any other woman of any other religion. If I as a Hindu woman was to be abandoned by my husband today, what would I do? I would go to the police thana, and it's not like I wouldn't know what law to apply. The police has to use the Domestic Violence Act, which provides for economic abuse, it provides for my right to maintenance, it provides for my right to housing, right? The same should ideally, after the triple talaq judgment, be available to Muslim law. My problem with this ordinance is that the Supreme Court had said that triple talaq is no longer a thing. So if it has happened, you are still married, you are still entitled to maintenance, maintenance for your children, for every matrimonial remedy you are entitled because your divorce hasn't taken place. This ordinance actually, I heard the minister, he's trying to say that he's pushing forward the judgment, but he's actually undone the judgment because he's again made triple talaq a legal moment. What if a Muslim man was to not say triple talaq but still chuck his wife out? What would you do then? You would use DV Act, right? You would use domestic violence. So what I don't understand is how are we missing the point that pronouncement of triple talaq is not the point, because saying 3 words shouldn't land you in jail, but acting on them, abandonment, regardless of what religion you're coming from, the punishment should be the same.
But under which law?
Why do you
under
want to
which
punish
law?
a
Are you
Muslim
saying
man
the
with 3
existing
years
laws
of
are enough?
imprisonment just because he said
Are you saying, Dr. Saxena, the existing laws are enough, ma'am? Are you saying the existing laws are enough?
No, I'm not saying no. So I'm not saying the existing laws are enough for the simple reason, like I started my entire point with the fact that I'm in favor of a legislative intervention.
Right.
Recently, the Law Commission's also come out with its report where it said that maybe because triple talaq is such a common practice, maybe in order for us to recognize it separately helps, because laws do have a psychological impact on people, right? So in that case, what I'm saying is that a triple talaq law could have simply been modelled on the provisions of the Domestic Violence Act, making it equal for all religions. What the ordinance refuses to see is the fact that a man can simply abandon his wife without saying triple talaq.
I take your point.
You cannot put so much emphasis on saying 3 words which after the judgment are invalid. Because I'll tell you another thing. The thing with the judgment is there is this argument.
Ma'am, I'm running short of time. I want to go to the...
which basically says that the judgment didn't do anything.
Let's hear from Zakia Suman, because she's, Soumya Saxena is making interesting points there. Just 3 words being criminalized is not enough. Women are being abandoned. A Muslim man will abandon a woman without saying the 3 words. Then what happens? Zakia Suman.
So this is precisely, one of the reasons why we had suggested a, number of amendments to the bill. And we sent the list of amendments to the Law Ministry as well as to Mr. Rahul Gandhi and all other opposition leaders. Because we want the bill to lay down a procedure of divorce, whereby there is a period of minimum 3 months where all these possibilities about which, Soumya talked about. There should be every possibility enabled between the husband and a wife to retrieve the marriage. It's not as though, Muslim women are very happy to walk out of the marriage. It's not as though they are very happy to send their husband to jail. The first and foremost thing that every woman who comes to us says, that how can I save my marriage? How can I, reconcile with my husband? I'm even willing to let go of many things, but, help me reconcile. So those are some of the kind of amendments, Rajdeep, we were suggesting, but precisely because of the non-engagement of the political parties and the non-engagement of the Muslim religious leaders such as the Personal Law Board, this bill, has been passed as it occurred to the government. In a democracy, we need to engage.
Asauddin Owaisi, are you ready to engage with us? 30 seconds. Are you ready at least to engage? Don't engage with me, engage with her. Engage with women. You say majority women are against the bill. Engage with the petitioners. Are you ready to engage with them?
I do not agree with you. I still reiterate once again, majority of Muslim women reject this ordinance. This government is a dictatorial government. They should have spoken to the stakeholders. They didn't even speak to the stakeholders.
Is a stakeholder.
They could
You're
have
not
sent
the
it to
only
the
stakeholder.
concerned standing committee. They are not
You're not
interested in
the
it.
only stakeholder.
No,
They're also stakeholders. Every Indian is a stakeholder.
So why don't you ask Mr. Modi, who's a good friend of yours, to speak to all the stakeholders? This is what I'm saying. The stakeholders means stakeholders.
The Muslim
government has
Personal
not
Law Board
spoken to
has
any
never engaged with the
stakeholders. The government
stakeholders,
is not
but the Prime
interested
Minister
in
now has to do
Lokpal
so.
bill.
Okay.
The government is not interested in whistleblowers bill.
Why don't you engage with Zakia Soman? Muslim Personal Law Board never listened to women for years. That's why it's reached this stage.
Rajdeep, I'm sorry to say that you do not know the ground reality. Right. It is the Muslim Personal Law Board who's running a consistent campaign of reforming and condemning this triple talaq, which will continue to do. Okay. And this will definitely, inshallah, will come down. We do not agree as Muslim with triple talaq, but please remember, social evils have not been solved by criminalization or by adding penal provisions. You have to reform the society. The society has to be reformed.
Okay, who's going to reform the society? Maybe the Muslim Personal Law Board had its opportunity. The government has now stepped in. But there are contrary views and there is a middle ground, as Dr. Soumya Saxena also put it. I appreciate all of you joining us here on my big debate this evening. My take. It would be unfortunate if the instant triple talaq ordinance is seen through a political prism as a familiar attempt at Muslim bashing or indeed as an election gambit by the Modi government. This isn't about a Hindu-Muslim question, but about gender justice versus a mindset that simply doesn't treat the Muslim woman as an equal. A law is needed as an enabling provision to protect women from a practice that the Supreme Court has called as sinful. Yes, the bill needs to go through a rigorous process of legislative scrutiny, and the criminal aspect of the ordinance deserves greater dialogue. But let not religious clerics hijack the debate any longer. The Constitution is above the Quran and individual rights above any gender regressive interpretation of Sharia laws. Bottom line, Muslim women deserve better.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.